Lots more ahead on Daybreak Asia. This is Bloomberg. We're just minutes away from the opens of markets across China. Let's turn to Sophie for what to watch. And Sophie, given that record final on Alibaba, tech will be a focus.
Yeah, tech certainly in focus. Tencent maybe next when it comes to regulatory scrutiny in the hot seat. Alibaba shares very much on watch as we watch for any re-ratings that may happen. Macquarie already coming through with an outperform rating and the stock target price at 359 Hong Kong dollars. Now, other themes of note, we're watching companies based in China's Hainan province after guidelines were jointly issued by several agencies like the PBOC and CBIRC to open up the financial sector at the trade port. So Hainan will be included in the QDLP scheme that allows foreign managers to raise money in China. We'll also keep an eye on industrial names on the mainland, with China tightening market controls of commodities to limit input costs. And switching out of the board to check in on how futures are faring as we come down to the Greater China Open. Also looking to Taiwan with that chip theme very much in focus. TAIEX futures moving to the upside. We'll be watching for TSMC ahead of its investor meeting this Thursday. Ahead of that, you have the Commercial Times media reporting the company may unveil lifting its 2021 on capex to $30 to $31 billion. And when it comes to other themes of note, of course, keep an eye on how capital inflows have been faring towards China. We have seen that moderate, of course, and that has weighed on the renminbi. Heidi.
All right, coming up on the next hour, here on Bloomberg TV, energy sector analysis with Vanda Insights. Founder and CEO Vandana Hari joins us from Singapore later, plus the outlook for Chinese markets, of reaction to that Alibaba find as well. Mirae Asset Global Investments portfolio manager Wei Chua's mainland growth fund beat 90% of its peers in the last year. That is it for Daybreak Asia, though. Markets coverage continues with the start of trading ahead in Hong Kong, Shanghai and Shenzhen. This is Bloomberg.
Good morning. It is 9 a.m. in Beijing and Shanghai. Welcome to Bloomberg Markets China Open. I'm Tom McKenzie.
Yeah, here we go, and I'm David Ingles here in Hong Kong. We're counting down to the open of trade. First session of the week on the Chinese mainland and here in Hong Kong. Let's get to your top stories today. Alibaba thanking regulators in China after it was hit with a record antitrust fine. Shares in Hong Kong get to react first, and we will see if investors too see almost $3 billion penalty as closure.
Investors' waning appetite for Chinese equities is clouding the outlook for Asian markets. Mainland stocks are getting overshadowed by the stronger US dollar and higher Treasury yields.
The Biden White House sees the digital yuan as a potential threat to the dollar. Officials believe the virtual version of the Chinese currency could start a long-term bid to end the greenback's dominance.
But despite the tensions, Didi Chuxing is looking to list in the US. The Chinese ride-hailing giant is said to have filed for an IPO that could value it at as much as $100 billion US. By the end of this week, we should get some clarity on the trajectory of China's economic recovery. We're going to get trade data out on Tuesday. We're in the window for credit data as well. And by Friday, David, the GDP print for the first quarter.
Yep, big week for data. Base effects going to be in focus. Obviously today it's about BABA and Biden. Just rounding up the beast there, of course, talking about the digital currency, which we'll talk about a bit later on. In terms of BABA stock to watch, 238 right now is your pricing. The backdrop is this. We're pretty much flat across the benchmark. As we get underway this week, as Tom was pointing out, big week as far as data is concerned. Flip the boards and have a look at where we are in treasuries. It's also a big week as far as these auctions, 3-month all the way up to 30 years. We're looking at that. As you can see, yields a little bit higher, and we are being extremely generous here. Commodity markets, the big story that you might have probably not heard of is over Chinese national radio. We are getting some comments here that China might be looking to tighten some input controls. Look out for a reaction here as far as the market is concerned. And Alibaba, there we go. The big story today, since November the 3rd, has severely underperformed. In fact, Tom, has been the underperformer here in Hong Kong, worst performing stock on the Hang Seng Index if you measure it from that date.
And will the dynamics now change given the news that we got out over the weekend? Alibaba says it accepts the penalty imposed by Chinese regulators and says it's unaware of any other antitrust investigations into its business. The tech giant took the unusual step of thanking authorities after getting slapped with a record $2.8 billion anti-monopoly fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure they have the choice, though. Bloomberg Intelligence says the penalty is a small price to pay to lift all this uncertainty that has really weighed on the company and also the stock. Our senior analyst for Asia Internet, Vaser Ling, joins us right now.